Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. It's been a while. I have created a video about 10 to 12 days. But that's because I was traveling, and after I came back from holidays, I was a little not feeling well. And don't worry, I cannot transmit it over the YouTube, so you are safe. But let's talk about some of the important topics. Some people have got the green cards, some people are still waiting. So we'll talk about some of the processing timelines during this process. We'll also talk about different scenarios when you will need to get a new PERM application done by your employer, and several other questions that you will be interested in. I'll also share my experience about the road trip to Canada, what were the restrictions and how I dealt with it. So watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now I would like to mention that I have some affiliate links in the description, so go through them, and if you are interested in any of those products and if you buy those products through those links, the channel will get a little bit of a commission. Another reminder that I wanted to make is I'm going to talk with Canadian immigration lawyer on May 5th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So if you are interested in Canada immigration, or if you are interested in the process, or just to know the process, because you may be, or your kids may be in the situation, you might want to watch that live telecast, because we are going to cover some very important scenarios for people who are looking to go from US to Canada for temporary purpose or even for permanent job relocation. Now, before we get into the immigration topics, let's talk about my experience as a road trip from US to Canada. So most of you know that I was also in Canada a little while back, and I had a lot of friends over there. So after the pandemic, we decided to take a road trip to Toronto. So in the last few years, there has been a lot of restrictions. In fact, the border was closed for almost 2 years. Since the border was opened later last year, they still had a lot of restrictions in terms of vaccination as well as the negative test result before you go to Canada and also before you re-enter the United States. Now recently they have taken away a lot of those restrictions. A lot of people are vaccinated in Canada and they have reduced those restrictions. So when we went, we did not have to do any negative COVID test entering into Canada. Neither did we had to do any negative COVID test returning back from Canada to US. So that was a big relief. Another thing that they have implemented is an Arrive Can application. So it's a web application. You go to the Canada website and you have to fill out this application, which asks you for your vaccination status and some other information that you have to fill within 72 hours of going into Canada. It used to also ask you about the quarantine plan if you should feel sick after entering the Canada. But just last week, they have removed that requirement of entering the quarantine information of entering into Canada. Other than that, you are free to go. You just get a barcode. You show the Arrive Can barcode to them, your passport and visa or whatever, and then you are free to go into Canada. Canada is a beautiful country. If you haven't visited it, it is becoming a tech hub, especially in the Toronto, Kitchener, Ontario area. So many of you who are contemplating relocating to Canada or moving to Canada, you might want to visit it first and see how you like it. I personally like Canada a lot, so I do visit a lot with my family. While coming back, we stopped by the Niagara Falls. We had been to Niagara Falls n number of times, but never had seen the Niagara Falls in the evening. There is a light show. They project lights on the Niagara Falls, on both the falls, the C-shaped fall and the other fall, and it looks amazing and beautiful. They are really majestic. I cannot explain the beauty of it, especially if you are looking from the Canada side. It looks beautiful. It's like a 70mm screen is right in front of you. Whereas from the US side, you have to kind of turn around because the falls is actually on the US side. Its beauty is actually apparent from the Canadian side. So if you ever get a chance to visit the Canadian border at the Niagara Falls, it's highly recommend that you see the falls in the daytime and also wait until the evening to see the falls. It's amazing. It's really beautiful. Now coming back into the United States, our experience was the same. All we had to do was show our passport to enter United States. They did not ask about our vaccination or nothing like that. It is however required for you to be vaccinated before you come back. So that was our experience. I thought it might be interesting for you because many people go to Canada or Mexico to do their stamping. Now, first thing I wanted to cover is there were quite a few number of people who have reached out to me about my videos being copied by some channels in India. So I have known about this issue for a while. I have reported this to YouTube several times. There has been no action. The reality of the situation is we live in a virtual world where this social media is out for everybody. So if somebody is copying your content, there is not really much you can do about it. If I have posted a video and if somebody makes a video, duplicate video and insert that into their content, it's a fair game apparently. But some channels are taking my content as it is and reproducing with the exact same words. Now you have to be very careful because if you are subscribed to those channels and if you are watching those channels, they are copying the content. They don't have the immigration related information themselves. So if they make any mistakes and you take any action based on that, it is your loss. So beware of those channels. How can you make out those channels? Those channels are mainly the ones that have drone footages of just immigration, like US flag and Capitol Hill and White House and all those things. And then they have automated playback or voiceover that hears very professional, but it's just an automated thing, whatever the text that they put in. So be very, very careful watching those channels, because if they make any mistake and if you take any action based on that, that is your loss, not theirs. That's all I wanted to say. And that brings me to the sponsor of this video, which is Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN provider and that gives you a lot of benefits that you are looking for. Now here is what all Surfshark has to offer. It gives you the power to protect your online privacy, control your personal data, access content safely, and unlock the exclusive benefits of this. What else can it do? You can browse privately, encrypt your internet activity so that no one can steal or track your data, hide your location. This is the key when I was talking about being able to watch the Netflix and Amazon from different countries, block ads and malware, stay safe on public Wi-Fi, keep searches private, and get real search results. And if you are in the tech or IT industry, you know what VPN can provide. Now, if you click the link in the description with my code Mandar, you will get a discount, almost 83% discount on VPN deal, and plus 3 months of absolutely free VPN. So check out the link in the description, and if you do get the Surfshark through my discount code, it will also benefit the channel. Now a lot of people ask me about the concurrent processing of the green card. Now as you know, EB2 dates have moved forward a lot for India. They have actually reached December of 2014. So a lot of people are now eligible to apply for their 485. Now what happens is, if you don't have an I-140 yet, but if your date is current in filing days chart, you can concurrently file I-140 and 485. Now remember, although you file them at the same time, the I-485 will not be processed until your I-140 is processed. And sometimes if you apply for I-140 in premium processing with the concurrent filing, it might get rejected. There are cases where if you file concurrent processing and at the same time file I-140 with premium, it has some issues. So best way what I have heard is you apply for I-140 in premium, get it approved within 15 days, and then immediately apply for I-485. So that would be my suggestion. Another thing I want to kind of remind you is that, and there have been a lot of USCIS alerts on this, is do submit your medicals at the same time as your I-485. It used to be in the past that because the processing time was so high and the medicals were only valid for 2 years, some would suggest that you can wait for the medicals to be submitted until you get an RFE. That is no longer the case. The validity of I-693 medicals is now extended to 48 months. So there is no reason for you not to apply for medicals at the same time as your I-485. So I highly recommend that. Now a lot of people are also saying that they are in EB3 category. They applied in October, November of 2020 when the dates were moving very fast for EB3, and they haven't heard anything. Maybe some got their EAD cards and some got their fingerprinting done, but nothing after that. So this is a tricky situation. If your date is no longer current in filing dates chart or final action date chart, you might want to consider upgrading your application to EB2. So that is one action that you can take. Now the second action you can take is make a case through ombudsman and also contact your local senators. And this only works if the processing time if it's beyond 1.5 years. I would highly suggest that you do follow up through ombudsman and through your senators and congressmen, because that might help. Now let's talk about estimated approval times. Now let's talk about PERM. PERM used to get approved within 4 to 5 months in the good old dates, like not too far back, but like 4 to 5 years back. It used to be a very fast process. Within 6 months at the most, you would get your PERM approved. Nowadays what's happening is I would say 25% of the cases are getting audited. So PERM applications are getting audited in certain percentage. Now what the audit is all about is, there are a couple of things. One is whether your prevailing wage is done correctly. Is it based on the correct geographical location that you have mentioned in the PERM form? So that could be one. Another one could be whether your employer is able to pay you the salary that they have mentioned in the PERM application. So that could be another one. So there are few other things, and lawyers routinely respond to these audits, and so there is nothing much to worry about unless your case has some inherent issue with it. But the current processing time for PERM application is well beyond 6. At the current time, it's up to 7 to 9 months, which is taking for the PERM application. Now let's talk about 140. I-140, except for EB1C and some other categories, you do have premium processing available for I-140. So I would highly recommend using the premium processing for I-140. This way you can get your actual permanent resident application approved within 15 days. Now once you have I-140 approved, you can apply for 485, I-790, 765 and I-131, which is EAD and advanced parole. So all of those can be applied at the same time. Do visit my video on the next steps, what happens next after you apply for 485. That's where I go into full details of every stage after I-485 and how much time can be expected for each stage until you get your green card. But in general, right now it's taking a long time. Now there is a very small percentage of people who have applied for I-485 recently this year, and they have actually got their green card within 3 to 4 months, and that percentage is very small. And this is in case if your priority date is current in the final action chart. But vast majority of people are not that lucky. Some people, as I said, they have applied in October, November and December of 2020 and still waiting for their green card to be approved, although their dates are current. And some other people whose dates are retrogressed, they cannot move forward because until their date becomes current again, USCIS is not going to assign them a visa number. In that situation, I highly recommend upgrading your petition to EB2. You may have to go through PERM and labor certification and I-140 again in order to do so, but that would be worth it in my opinion. Now another question that I get is, and this is very common, is when do I need a new PERM application? Say for instance, you have worked for a company for a long time and you have had your PERM processing done in EB2 and you had your 140 approved in EB2 as well, and now you are waiting for your date to become current, and finally once your date is current, at what time sometimes lawyers still suggest going through PERM and I-140 again. Now if there is any material change to your employment, say for instance your job profile has significantly changed. So say for instance you were in system engineering and now you have moved to software engineering. Now those are two different things. In other example, if you were in supply chain management and now you are entered into HR, now these are totally different job profiles. Now in that case, you definitely need a new PERM application. Now another situation is if you have moved and the geographical location in terms of pay scale and things like that is significantly different. Say for instance you were in Midwest when your original PERM application was processed, and now you have moved to New York City or Boston or San Francisco or one of those hot destinations where the pay scale can be very high or very different than what it would have been in say Nebraska or Missouri or Illinois. So in that case you will need a new PERM application, and your lawyer should suggest you that. If they don't, then there might be problem during the process of your 485. Now another situation where you might need a new PERM application is because of the mergers and acquisition. Say if your company had filed your PERM and labor certification and I-140, and in future after several years your company got acquired by a bigger company. Now you're still working for the same company, but as due to the fact that now this company is different, with a different name, with a different business model, and possibly new salary structure, your lawyer might suggest you to apply for a new PERM application and I-140. So that is very common scenario nowadays with so many mergers and acquisitions happening. So those were some of the common situations where even though you are working for the same employer for a long time, and even though you had gone through PERM and I-140, your lawyer would still suggest you to apply for a new PERM and I-140 if significant time has passed and if any of these conditions have happened. A lot of people are receiving their green cards. One of my close friends just received his green card as well after a long wait. So don't lose hope, folks. It's coming, your day is coming. Dates for EB2 are moving very fast, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel. I can expect to see that EB2 dates might move in final action date chart until end of 2014. So by the end of this year. So which is significant movement, and if that happens, you are in October we can see some good news in terms of progression, not just for EB2 but also for EB3, because there will be fresh set of visa numbers dedicated for EB3 in October. So we should see some good movement for EB3 in October. So that's really all I wanted to say in this video. If you like the content of this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. And by the way, if you have any questions and need my personal opinion, do reach out to me on the Patreon site. And I'll see you in the next one.